Hey guys, Omaha here. So I just finished watching the Avatar series on Netflix, and actually that was pretty good. You know, not as good as the animated series, obviously. For me, that's like an S tier. I would probably put this one at like a B plus tier, maybe. Didn't agree with the casting 100%, but overall I thought the casting was pretty good. Just a couple I didn't like. But anyways, it really got me thinking that I wanted to do a 4 elements run on Baldurs Gate 3. Kind of play like the Avatar. And the problem with that, as a lot of you know, is the 4 element subclass is kind of dookie. So I aim to fix that with mods. And I think I found 3 mods that do a pretty good job of making you feel like the Avatar. It's pretty awesome. 2 of them I would say are actually pretty good balance wise. It still feels like it fits in naturally with the game. The third one is the Avatar state, so it's kind of OP in my opinion. And that kind of comes with the territory. But then again, you have Open Hand Monk, which is ridiculously OP anyway. So who knows? Anyways, let's look at the mods. And then I'll jump in and I'll show you guys some gameplay with the mods. It's kind of more of a relaxed video that I'm doing today. Not really making it super crazy structured like I normally do. I'm trying to get mod videos out faster starting now. So this is the first mod. This one aims to bring the 4 elements monk subclass up to par with some of the other subclasses in the game. And it doesn't seem like it really brings it out of control. It actually seems like it fits pretty well into the game. It's based off of a homebrew that's used in 5e D&D as kind of the de facto fix for the 4 elements. So this one's called Onma's Way of the 4 Elements Remastered Monk Class. Created by cont'd, uploaded by Aangs. It does a pretty good job. So there's 2 versions of the mod. There's Acolyte and Master. Acolyte kind of keeps the leveling similar to how vanilla is, where you get a certain amount of spells every level and you can't have all the spells. And then there's Master, that's going to give you every single spell as you unlock it. So I'm just going to do Master just for the purpose of this video, just to show you guys everything. But key cost will be lowered to match spell level. So if you're using like Fog Cloud level 1 spell, it's just going to make it cost 1 key point. It's going to apply for all the other ones. The cantrip disciplines will no longer cost key, nor does the ice block one. Water Whip has been changed as now a bonus action. So it works a little bit differently now, and it's a bonus action. I'll show you guys that as well. And then multiple new disciplines have been added at each level. Those are the spells. 3rd level, you'll get Fog Cloud. 6th level, there's Tremor Sense and Flaming Sphere. 11th level, you'll get Lightning Bolt, Wall of Fire, Stone Skin, Sleet Storm, Wall of Stone, Ice Wall, and Erupting Earth, which is an earth bending. Because we didn't have earth bending before, and now we do, which is pretty sweet. And then it's going to change 4 of the attacks you already had. Well, 3 of them. Actually, maybe 2 of them. Yeah, this one wasn't in before either. 2 of them will be changed, and there's 2 new ones. So, there's 2 versions of them. Basic and Empowered. The basic version is going to extend the range by 30 feet, and it's going to change your damage type with that actual spell. And the Empowered version has additional effects, but only uses a key point when it lands the hit. So that's basically it for that. So I'll show you that in game. All right, before we jump into that gameplay mod, and there's actually 2 gameplay mods. This one's going to be the 3rd mod. It's the aesthetic mod. And you know, if we're trying to look like the Avatar, we got to have that blue arrow on our forehead, especially since we're trying to look like Aang. So yeah, this is what this does. It just adds the tattoo, and you can change the color of it. It's created by Coven Elf, uploaded by Coven Elf, same person. So yeah, that's literally all it does. We'll jump into the character creator, and we're gonna try to make a character that looks kind of like Aang really quick. Kind of going for the adult Aang look. Obviously we can't make a 10-year-old or 11-year-old. I think he's 11. Wouldn't really want to, even if I could. All right, so going to the character creator here. All right, boom, we're in the character creator. So this isn't gonna be like a build video. I'm not gonna like try to go super in depth on what you should do, obviously, but there's more to just show off the mods. So I'm gonna try to make Aang really quick. We'll go body type 2 because that makes the most sense. Definitely want to be human and monk, obviously. I mean, what else are you gonna be? Folk hero, I feel like fits Aang the most. Saving innocence and imminent danger will make your legend grow. That's kind of what he goes for, I think. I don't think any of the other ones would really fit him. Let's do folk hero. Kind of makes sense for him. And then abilities. He's not really a strength guy, you know? So we'll go wisdom, because you definitely want those spells, or what are they called? Disciplines, there we go, to be better. That's going to be scaled off your wisdom, so we want that to be higher. And then I guess we can put another point in constitution, keep us alive. And then skills, I mean, Aang's an animal handler. We all know that. I'd say acrobatics. I don't know. Again, this isn't like a build video, but religion, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. You do you. And then we'll go to edit the appearance. It looks, you know, that might fit. Obviously the skin color's got to change a little bit. There we go. I think he has brown eyes, right? Yeah, he's got those brown eyes. And then definitely need to make him bald first before we do anything. And the facial hair, I think the closest one they have to that is probably this. They don't really have a chin that goes, I mean the beard hair that goes all the way up to his ears, but this is about as good as it's gonna get without adding a mustache. We'll do that. And then let's go to the tattoos. Where are those at? Makeup, no, body art, there we go. Okay, so for the Aang tattoo, it doesn't even look like, none of the previews are actually gonna be what it looks like. It's actually in this column right here. And it's called, I think it's Wicked, no. Suffusion, there we go. So it's the Suffusion one, you click on this one. Again, the preview looks nothing like it, but it'll add the arrow, and then you can change the color right here. It kind of has like a bluish gray, I'd say. So maybe this one, and then turn down the intensity a little bit. Looks pretty good. And there's my adult Aang. So now we're gonna jump into the gameplay mods. Let's do it. Okay, back to the 4 Elements Remastered mod. So here's the leveling, what's gonna typically look like. This is the master version of the mod, keep that in mind. So I'll be getting all the spells when I level up, but here at level 3, you get those new spells. Choose your Way of 4 Elements subclass. And then you'll see I get these 4 actions, the Fist of Unbroken Air, the Stone Palm Strike, the Fangs of the Fire Snake, and the Claws of the Frost Naga. And then you get your Harmony of Fire Water. And this is where you get your 9 spells with the master one. The typical one I think is still the same as vanilla. So you'll just choose, I think it's like 3 spells or something, 4 maybe. Can't remember exactly, but yeah. So you get all 9 with the master one. And then you get your subclass feature, Elemental Energies, augments the power of one's elemental strikes. So I'll show you guys all these in a second. I'll just show you guys the 6th level too, where you get some new spells, and then 11 as well. Alright, and here's level 6. This is where you get some more spells to choose. Again, you get all of them, so I got 5. You've got your Patient, Badger Listens, and then the Mode of the Sun. Those are the new ones. So I'll show those again here in a minute after I go to level 11 and show you guys that too. Alright, and then here's a level 11. 11 more spells to choose. So then you've got Earth Reaches for Sky, your Cone of Cold, Barrier of the Crystal Tsunami, Wave of Rolling Earth, which is the Stone Wall, Flames of the Phoenix, Mist Dance, Ride the Wind, Rivers of Hungry Flame, Spear of the Crackling Spire, Rain of Frigid Glacier, and Eternal Mountain Defense. So those are all the new disciplines, and now I'll jump in the game and show you guys those, and then I'll show you the reworked disciplines that were already in those passives that had the 2 versions. Alright, so first we'll go over Fangs of the Fire Snake. Again, that has 2 different variants now. So the first one, it's not going to use key points, and that'll do like 5 to 12 fire damage. That's based on your wisdom modifier as well. But it says here in the description, has a range of 30 feet and changes your unarmed damage to fire. I think it's just talking about the attack here, because I tested this and it didn't change Flurry of Blows to fire damage. I don't know if that's what they were intending, but let's see, I'll use it here. Critical hit. Flurry of Blows is still bludgeoning, but that's what the basic version looks like. The empowered version, however, if you hit, you consume 1 key and you add 1d10 fire damage to the attack, and then it ignites your fists, adding 1d4 fire damage to attacks this round. So let me enter turn-based here. Use the empowered version. Critical hit. So you'll see Flurry of Blows now has fire damage as well. So that'll add up pretty quickly. Okay, the next one is Fist of Unbroken Air. So this one, again, 2 actions is the basic one. This does 8 to 15 bludgeoning damage with a range of 30 feet. That's what that's looking like. You got the empowered version. So if it hits, you force the target to make a strength saving throw or be pushed back 20 feet and knocked prone. There we go. So that's what that looks like right there. Now, one thing I didn't mention until right now is these trigger your martial arts unarmed strike when you land a hit. So see down here, martial arts unarmed strike, you can make an unarmed attack as a bonus action, which means you can potentially use these abilities 3 times per turn. So you get your normal action, then you can use extra attack to use it again, and you also get the bonus action from martial arts unarmed strike. Okay, let's go over those other 2. So here's Claws of the Frost Naga. The basic one, you freeze them from afar. That's got a range of 30 feet, and it's just standard cold damage. here's that. And then the empowered version, if the attack lands, it freezes the ground. All enemies in the area need to make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d10 cold damage. And it's also going to create an ice surface for 2 turns, whether it hits or not. So there's that. She was saved, so she didn't take the extra damage. All right, and for the 4th one, this is awesome because we finally get earth bending in this game. Something that I think should have been in there from the beginning. So Earth Blast, the basic version, no key points again. This is going to be piercing damage. It actually looks pretty cool. You throw a rock.
We're on the same side.
Kind of hard to see, but see if I can try to show you guys better. See, that rock came out. So the empowered one, it makes your attack an AoE. If it hits at least one creature, you consume 1 key, and all in the AoE must make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. So that one looks pretty awesome. There it missed, but you get to see the animation, so yeah, pretty cool. Okay, and then another thing that the mod was doing was it was changing the cantrips. They don't use key, so Chill the Mountain here. No key points needed. It's just gonna be your standard cantrip, 2 to 20 cold damage. And I think that was actually the only cantrip type discipline that we even had. Ice Block also no longer uses key, which is nice because it's just to get around kind of. And then see, you get Fog Cloud here. That's going to cost 1 key point because it's a level 1 spell. And then you get your... Oh, Water Whip changed. That's right. So now this is a bonus action, and it has 2 different variants. You got Pull, so you can pull someone towards you. If they actually consent. There we go.
How much further can I go?
So there's the Pull, and then you have the Knock Prone. But she's not willing. But anyway, so the new discipline you get at level 6, the Patient Badger Listens. You reach out with your key to the ground beneath you. You can spend 2 key points as a bonus action to gain Tremor Sense with a range of 30 feet. This makes you immune to the blinded condition and allows you to see all invisible targets within 30 feet. So there it is, and down here at the bottom left for 10 turns, you have Tremor Sense. So there you go. Can't be blinded. And you can sense invisible creatures, which is actually pretty clutch in Act 3 and stuff, so pretty cool. 6th level, you also get Mode of the Sun, which is the Flaming Sphere spell. It's basically the exact same thing. Just get a cool little monkey animation to go with it. Alright, then we have our 11th level spells, and these are all like the standard spells, but here's Spear of the Crackling Spire. It's Lightning Bolt. You spend 3 key points to cast that. You got your Rivers of Hungry Flame, which is Wall of Fire. This is going to cost 4 key points. This one's actually new. Earth Reaches for Sky. This does 3 to 36 bludgeoning damage, and you focus your strength with a deep rumbling shout. You swing your arms up high, causing an eruption of churned earth and stone that engulfs your foes. You can spend 3 key points to cast Erupting Earth. This will leave a mud surface for 4 turns as well. And on a save, they're going to take 4 damage. I'll actually just use this on Shadowheart again. She's been a good sport. So that's what that looks like. Saved, so she took half damage, and then there's the mud surface there. Then you've got your Eternal Mountain Defense. Your body hardens to stone, nearly impervious to weapons. 4 key points to cast Stone Skin, targeting yourself only. So, yeah. You've got your Reign of the Frigid Glacier, which is your Sleet Storm. You spend 3 key points for that. You've got your Barrier of the Crystal Tsunami. So you use 6 key points, and it's a Wall of Ice. 2 to 120 ice damage. And then that last one is Wave of Rolling Earth, which is Wall of Stone. And that one's 5 key points. So yeah, that's the mod. It just adds a couple new spells, and it lowers some of the key point costs. So I think it actually balances this subclass out pretty well. And then the last mod we have is kind of OP, but I'll let you be the judge of that. We'll hop into that one now. Okay, final mod is the Avatar State from Starpest. This is where it gets a little bit crazy. Okay, so this is a complicated mod. I'll do the best I can to explain it, but it's going to be a lot easier when I show you in game. It'll make more sense. So essentially what this does is it gives you a feat that you can choose at level 4 or 8, whatever you want to do. And that feat is called Avatar of the Four Elements. So you choose that and it unlocks all this stuff for you. So the other gameplay I was just showing you, I had this mod installed already. You just couldn't see anything because I didn't choose the feat. So you choose that feat, and I'll show you that. And it lets you invoke elements. So you can choose one of the 4 elements to invoke. After you invoke that, it's going to give you some things and it's going to last, the duration is going to be equal to your level. That will then allow you to attune to that specific element. So say I invoke fire element. Okay, it'll last from level 12 turns. I actually think it goes to 13, but say 12 turns. I can then attune to the element. So I attune to fire, that'll refresh the duration. It'll give me more things and that'll make me the avatar of fire, which gives me stuff too. So it sounds complicated. I'll show you guys though. That's kind of the gist of it. There's also the avatar state, which you unlock by deciphering the Forbidden Tome, aka the Necromancy of Thay. And the avatar state basically attunes you to all 4 elements at the same time, and it adds like force damage and all this other stuff, but we'll get into that at the end. Also, I forgot to mention, there are 2 files for this. You can choose either one. There's the regular avatar state, which uses like animations from like the wizard classes and stuff. I don't know why you'd want to use that. I think this one's better. There's the monk avatar state one, which uses monk animations, and you're usually playing a monk as an avatar, so I mean, it makes more sense to choose that one anyway. So here I'm level 3 right now, going through the leveling process. Again, I chose all 9 of my spells because I have that other mod with the master version. So once I get to level 4 here, I'll choose that feat, and I'll show you guys what the feat kind of has. There's actually 2 feats that come with this. I'll explain the other one after I show you this first one because it'll make more sense. So Avatar of the Four Elements. Gain the ability to invoke, attune, and enter the avatar state when in danger. That avatar state comes with the Necromancy of Thay, so you can ignore that for now. So invoking, you can choose between freezing frost, searing heat, lightning, or thunder. There's no earth associated with this part of the mod, unfortunately, but there is earthbending in this mod, so I'll show you guys that too. So you'll choose a passive, so I'll go over these real quick. Altered Balance. You are overflowing with elemental ki and gain the understanding to channel it at the cost of your mortality. Decrease your constitution by 1 to gain 6 key points. So that's pretty strong. Unleashed Mind. Your connection to magic is unique and grants your mind clarity when spellcasting at the cost of your body's capabilities. Decrease your strength by 1 to gain 3 level 2 spell slots. So if you're multi-classing with like a wizard or whatever, that might be good. Prodigious. I don't think I'm saying that right. Prodigious Arrogance. Your powers do not need to be earned, simply used. Decrease your wisdom by 1 to gain 7 sorcery points. So if you multi-class into sorcerer, that'd be great. Pain and Gain. You take hits like you were meant for them, brushing off blades and bolts like they could never hurt you. Decrease your armor class by 2 to heal for 2 to 8 plus your level in hit points when you take physical damage. And that's every single turn. Patient Silence. Your steps are light, your movement is shadow. Decrease your movement speed while sneaking to gain advantage on stealth checks. Dauntless Devotion. Your oath is everything to you, for good or for ill. Gain 2 channel oath charges, so if you're playing a paladin, there you go. Zealous Faith. Your deity rewards your faith. Gain 2 channel divinity charges, so cleric. Expert Training. Martial techniques have become effortless for you from rigorous training. Gain 4 superiority die. That would probably be very, very, very strong. I mean, a lot of these are strong, but that one seems pretty busted. And then Enlightenment. This one's kind of crazy too. Few strive for such balance. Fewer still achieve it. Increase all ability scores by 1. This one's actually kind of broken, I think, but that's the one I would probably choose. It's kind of nuts. Okay, so you select your passive, and then you can choose 3 of these. Now, I'll go over these as well. I'll probably have to respec and then show you guys the other 3 or other 4 because there's 7 of them. But okay, now we're back in game. So I've kind of laid out everything that the mod adds right here at the bottom to make it more simple so you can understand it better. Everything here is going to stay the same when you choose that feat, except for these 3. These are the spells. So whatever 3 spells you chose, that's what you'll have instead of these 3. And then elemental avatars if you do the Necromancy of Thay book. So if you don't do that, you won't have the option to even select it. So the first step in this is always going to be to invoke your element. So you'll choose one of the 4, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder, and it costs an action, and it's once per battle. That's your first step. So invoke cold, 2 to 12 damage, explode with elemental energy for 2 to 12 cold damage, and you get freezing frost for 13 turns. So that's your level plus 1, I'm assuming, because I'm level 12 right now. And it doesn't harm allies, so you see Shadowheart's in the range there. So is Dame. And there's the freezing frost. So that would be 2 to 12 cold damage to enemies nearby. Affected entity has invoked the element of cold. Spells and attacks deal an additional 4 cold damage for 13 turns. Now that cold damage is based off of your dexterity modifier, I think, because I have a +4 dexterity modifier. And my wisdom currently is a +3 modifier. So if you're trying to go into this mod, I would prioritize dexterity. And the other spell mod is off wisdom. So dexterity and wisdom are the ones you want. But if I go to my attacks here, you'll see flurry of blows. You get 2 instances of cold damage because it's 2 hits. So that's 8 extra damage for you, which is great. Fangs of the Fire Snake, you don't really get anything because it's fire damage, I'm assuming, so they don't mix. Fist of Unbroken Air, you get +4 cold on the air blast. The elemental spheres do not get that. So there's a couple of things that don't get it. I don't know what determines whether it does or doesn't, but Water Whip gets it for both, and then the stone one should get it too. Yeah. So the empowered one doesn't, but the regular one gets cold damage as well. Stunning Strike also is getting cold damage. So that all adds up. The damage will add up pretty quick, especially later on, and you'll see why. We got 13 turns of that. I'm in turn-based. Now we'll attune to the element. So we'll go to Cold, Avatar of Frost. Freeze your skin and gain Abyss Walker. So this will reduce damage from all sources and increase your armor class by 2, and you are immune to cold damage. And then you get Abyss Walker. So that just adds the cold damage to your stuff like the other one did. And this also will refresh the duration of your ability down there at the bottom. I'll show you that actually. So I'll turn off turn-based, and I'll let that tick down to like 12 turns so you can see. So now it's at 12. So I'll go back into turn-based, and then I'll invoke cold. Go back to 13. Again, Avatar of Frost for 13 turns. Oh yeah, and then another part of Abyss Walker is enemies find it difficult to approach you and are inflicted with Abyssal Frost every turn. Also, when you deal cold damage, you also inflict Frostbite. So that's going to give them disadvantage on dexterity saving throws, and if there's 7 or more turns remaining on their Frostbite, they have to succeed a Constitution saving throw, or they take 1 to 4 cold damage and become frozen. And then Abyssal Frost, the entity will freeze for cold damage at the end of each turn, and its movement speed is halved. So this is adding quite a bit to your attacks, more than what meets the eye. After you attune to an element, you have a spell associated with that. Since we did cold, we get Roaring Rime. That'll do 10 to 31 cold damage, emit a freezing torrent of ice, burning targets undergo rapid cooling and become brittle. And brittle will make them take extra damage, and they'll be vulnerable to thunder and bludgeoning damage. So there's a lot to this mod, but that's what the spell looks like right there. And then it leaves an ice surface down there. So that was what cold looks like. That's typically what you can expect. And actually, if you prep this before battle, you could get more than 1 element going at a time. I didn't really think about that, but another thing with this is after you've attuned, you can expel your elements, which will deal force damage, and revoke the elements you're attuned to, causing a shockwave to erupt from your body for 10 to 31 force damage. This action will end your avatar states, and that's a bonus action. So there's that. That's what that looks like. Now let's go over fire. So you can invoke fire. You do the same explosion, 2 to 12 damage. You get Searing Heat for 13 turns. That's going to add fire damage to all your attacks. So same thing as cold, just fire now. So you've done that. You get your 13 turns. Okay, so now I can attune to fire. This does 2 to 12 damage again. Ignite your soul and gain Raging Flames. So Cinder of Soul, your soul is pure fire, scorching enemies that are close and granting you immunity to fear, blindness, burning, and fire damage. You cannot be enwebbed, entangled, or ensnared. So when they're scorched, they're going to take 4 to 16 fire damage at the start of their turn. That's pretty nuts. And then Raging Flames, you inflict 4 damage with spells and attacks. When you deal fire damage, the target must succeed a Constitution saving throw or begin burning. So it's pretty similar to cold, just all burning now instead. Okay, I've invoked it. I'm now the Avatar of Fire. And then you got your Attune spell, which is Fierce Flame, 7 to 22 fire damage. Ignite the air, causing it to flare and combust in a pillar of flame, leaving a scorched terrain in the target area for 3 turns. On a save, they'll take half damage. So there it is. Fire surface, 1 to 4 fire damage per turn. Next, we have lightning. So we'll invoke lightning. This gives you 2 to 12 lightning damage. You get charged lightning for 13 turns. That adds your 4 lightning damage to all your attacks, just like the other ones. There we go. And I've actually left Avatar of Fire going just to show you guys that if you pre-buff beforehand, you can't have more than 1 at a time. And then we'll attune to lightning. So Avatar of Lightning, electrify your blood and gain Eye of the Storm. Lightning courses through your veins, granting doubled movement speed, an additional bonus action, and immunity to shock and lightning damage, which is crazy. Now, Eye of the Storm, that adds the 4 lightning damage to your spells and attacks like you had before. When you deal lightning damage, the target must succeed a dexterity saving throw or become electrocuted. Shock enemies around you in combat. So we'll tune to that. And now we have Avatar of Lightning and Avatar of Fire active at the same time. So if I go to my Flurry of Blows, boom. You've got +4 fire, +4 lightning, +4 fire, +4 lightning. So yeah, you stack those up, you're gonna be insane. And then if you go to your attuned spells, you've got both active since I have both avatar states active. So lingering lightning, 7 to 22 lightning damage. Lightning strikes all targets within range, electrocuting them. So it kind of looks like Call Lightning a little bit. And then for our last one, we'll invoke Thunder, 2 to 12 thunder damage. Gain crashing thunder for 13 turns, adding the thunder damage to your attacks. So there we go. And then we will become Avatar of Thunder. So free your body and gain Echoing Calamity. Your body echoes a maelstrom of wind and thunder, granting you freedom of movement, flight, and immunity to thunder damage. You cannot take fall damage. So now your movement speed can't be reduced by difficult terrain, spells, or magical effects, can't be paralyzed or restrained, and now you can fly. And then Echoing Calamity adds the thunder damage to your stuff. When you deal thunder damage, the target must succeed a wisdom saving throw or is inflicted with reverberation, blind enemies around you in combat. So now you'll understand why Elemental Avatar is pretty broken. I mean, these are pretty strong on their own. Honestly, they're pretty busted. But when you have all 4 at the same time, it's kind of out of control. And then your flight is down here next to your attuned spells. So you can fly 60 feet. And then your attuned spell is Terrifying Thunder. That is 11 to 39 thunder damage. Unleash a tempest from your hands, ripping through the air and pushing back foes, inflicting them with fear for 3 turns. So it kind of looks like Lightning Bolt, but it's thunder. So there you go. So that's what all 4 of the elements look like with the attuning and invoking. So it seems more complicated than it really is. Now the elemental rays, you'll always get all 4 of these. It's a bonus action. So you choose between the 4. There's freezing, fire, shocking, and thunder. Freezing will chill and frostbite a target. We already went over frostbite, and you get freezing frost for 2 turns. So that's going to add the cold damage just like the attuning and invoking does, but it's only for 2 turns this time. You can try to stack these up a little bit. Searing Gaze does 3 to 18. Sear and burn a target, and you get Searing Heat for 2 turns. There you go. Okay, so you just have to hit something for it to activate. So there you see I have the Searing Heat for 2 turns down there. And then Shocking Gaze, electrocute and shock a target, gain Charge Lightning for 2 turns. There we go. Then you can stack them up. But it's only 2 turns, so you could probably only stack like 2 at most. And then the final one is the Thunder and Gaze. Jolt and reverberate a target, gain crashing thunder for 2 turns. Yikes. She's getting grumpy. She doesn't like being the test dummy. Okay, so that was all the elemental rays. So those are pretty straightforward. Now we'll get into the spells, and I'll show you these 3, and then I'll reload without showing you guys the reloading, because it takes forever. And then I'll go through the other ones as well. So the first one's Airbending. So this just gives you a bunch of airbending spells, which is pretty sweet. You have Bend, Air, Throw. Throw a creature object with 60 feet by bending the air around it. So I could throw Shadowheart, even though she's already tired of this. So it's pretty awesome. It works pretty well, and it goes really far. So 60 feet actually would be like right about there. That's pretty freaking far. Yeah, this mod's overpowered. Then we have Bent Air Storm Cloud. Charge the air with lightning to create an electrified cloud of 17-foot radius. So electrified steam, that's gonna deal 1 to 4 lightning damage per turn with enemies in there. And then we have Fog. Now this will mask the air with fog in 17-foot radius. Okay, so here's the fog. Then we have Bend Air Cloak. So this lets you turn invisible for 13 turns. Attacks against have disadvantage and attacks with advantage. Also concentration. Can you use this on somebody else? Bend the air around a creature. Oh, so you can use this on allies as well. It's pretty sweet. So there you go. There's invisibility. And then the final one is Pull. So you can pull creatures towards you or objects. So a lot of these are going to be easy, make it easy to one-hit kill enemies. Okay, now we have Waterbending. These are like more like healing, things like that. But you have Cure, which lets you alleviate illness and disease. So if she had a disease, you could heal her like that. Waterbend, Heal. So you can do healing, 24. And all this costs is an action, by the way. It's once per battle. So healed for 24. Then you have, this is like Bloodbending, which is pretty sick. Forbidden Art, Languish of Ichor. So 1 to 12 damage, piercing, rip through the veins of up to 3 creatures, causing them to bleed for 12 turns. So they can take 2 slashing damage at the start of each turn and they'll have disadvantage on Constitution saving throws. So I'm not going to attack Dame because she actually gets super aggro. She kind of wild. I'll just do these. Volo will attack me too. Let's do those 3. So now they're bleeding. And you'll see here he has got that condition for 12 turns. He heals himself because he's not into that, I guess. And there you go. That's what that looks like. Bend, water, freeze. Freeze the area and create an ice surface. So that's pretty straightforward. Just creating an ice surface that'll make enemies slip. And then you have create water, which is the same as normal create water spell. But it comes in handy quite a bit, especially if you combine it with your lightning attacks. It actually pairs really well with lightning avatar. Okay, now earthbending. This is all super cool because we don't have any earthbending in the game whatsoever. So first one is Wall of Stone. We already went over that in the spells, so I'll just do a small one. But that actually does not cost anything except an action. It's once per battle, so it doesn't use ki. Okay, then we have Bent Earth Roar of Gaia. 3 to 30 bludgeoning damage. Strike the earth with a heavy blow to overwhelm nearby creatures and possibly knock them off balance. For 4 turns, you can bend the trembling earth to erupt again in a target area. So look at Trembling Lakes for 3 turns. Its movement speed will reduce by 8.3 feet and its dexterity is reduced by 1. So here's that. I do not want to attack Dame because I already know it's going to be bad. Oh, it doesn't attack friendly, so that's actually even better. And you'll see down here I've got 4 more turns of Aftershock, so I can go over here to the right and use it again as a bonus action. The next one, this is actually insane. Bend Earth, create lava. Churn the molten earth to create a lava surface in 10-foot radius for 4 turns. And this does a ton of damage. I tested this out earlier. So this does 10d6 fire damage per turn, which is like, wow. That's a lot. Once per battle, but it does use an action and a bonus action, so maybe that's why. And then the final one's Bend Earth, Metal Skin. Harden Earth into metal and coat a target with it, increasing their armor class by 2 for 13 turns. That's just like the Stone Skin or whatever it is. Okay, now we're back on level 4, so I'm going to show you me picking this again. I go Enlightenment because it's crazy. Okay, 3 spells. So Fist of Frost and Fire, Lightning Step. I did those 3 last time. And then there's Elemental Strike and Unarmed Elemental Strike. I'm just going to do Unarmed just because it's the same thing. I'm just not going to show you the other one. You're going to be seeing the exact same thing pretty much. So we'll do Unarmed. And while we're here, I just want to state that you can't choose the Avatar of the 4 Elements feat more than once. So don't think that you can get all these spells. It's you choose the 3 and that's what you're rocking unless you respec. Okay, so Master of the 4 Elements is pretty straightforward actually. You're basically going to choose one of the 4 elements again. And what it gives you is an ability increase of 1 in a specific stat. You'll get an expertise, and then it will make that element last until a long rest instead of the 13 turns. So if you attune or invoke, you'll last until a long rest instead of 13 turns, or 12 turns, whatever level you are. For cold, you get a constitution increase of 1, and you get expertise in stealth. Fire, you get strength increase of 1, expertise in intimidation. Lightning, you get dexterity up 1 and expertise in acrobatics. And then thunder, you get an increase of wisdom by 1 and you get expertise in perception. So this one you can choose more than 1 time. So if you want to go level 12 and select this again, so you have 2 different elements that will last until a long rest, and that's 2 stat increases, also 2 more expertises, you can do that. I like airbending, so let's do air or thunder, whatever they call it. Okay, level 12 here, I'm gonna do fire too because, you know, I gotta rock that. And I'll show you guys how out of control this can really get. All right, and now we have our 3 new spells. So we'll go over those now. Fist of Frost and Fire. This is a flurry of blows, but 2 different versions. There's a cold and a fire. One adds freezing frost for 2 turns, which adds the cold damage to all your attacks. And one is fire, adds searing heat for 2 turns, which adds the fire to all your attacks. So if you're really thinking about it, this is gonna stack damage modifiers like up the wazoo. So here's the cold.
Time for some bloody work.
So it's actually a ranged attack. It's like a ranged flurry of blows, which is extremely interesting. So I've done that. I now have... Oh, I have lightning charges because I have those gloves on. So let me take those off and ignore that. Shouldn't have those on for this. But anyways, ignore these lightning charges right here. So now I've got 2 turns where just like before, you get the cold damage on your attacks. And since that was an action, I can follow up with Flurry of Blows and close the distance and do that in the same turn. Your damage potential with this mod is insane, and I would like to apologize for not stating enough in the beginning of this video how overpowered this mod is. I definitely wasn't thinking ahead. Okay, and then we have the fire one. So this will do Searing Heat. So this is a ranged Flurry of Blows again. And, you know, Stereon can't hang with the boys, I guess. So yeah, there's that. And you get the fire damage on your stuff like before. So that's that spell. Lightning Step. This is Misty Step, but you do lightning damage when you teleport. And wow, that is a lot of range. I did not realize it was that much. Okay. There's that. It doesn't affect allies, which is good. Bad for testing, but good for real scenarios. And then our final one, Unarmed Elemental Strike. Teleport to a target and strike them with your fist, infuse an element you have invoked or attuned. So this still counts from the Searing Heat and Freezing Frost I got from the other one, so I'm not going to attune an element, but teleport and frostbite a target. So this is like a lot of damage. I think it adds the Searing Heat as well. Yeah, it does. Okay, well, guess you guys are getting a little more damage to see. So here's the cold one, Freezing Strike. So that's insane. Yeah, this mod's busted, guys. If you want a balanced playthrough, avoid this mod entirely. Should have said that at the beginning, but I wasn't thinking ahead, like I said. The other mod actually does balance pretty well. I'll say. I think it balances pretty well, at least. It could be different for you guys, but it feels pretty balanced. This one does not feel balanced whatsoever. But anyway, it is fun. So Searing Strike, might as well show you that too. And then Unarmed Elemental Strike. You can do the fire one, so their cold damage is gone because we lost our cold attunement thing. Teleport and burn a target. I need to turn that off because it's interrupting. And then we'll go lightning, shocking strike, teleport and electrocute a target. Will's gonna die from this probably. Oh, I missed. Whatever. And then our final one is the thunder one. We'll teleport and reverberate a target. Requires crashing thunder or thunder attunement. And yeah, if you stack up these damage modifiers, you're way stronger than the open hand monk. And that is it for all those. And now we get to the part where it's extremely game ending, ridiculous, overpowered. You're the freaking Avatar, brother. Okay, Elemental Avatar. All my friends are dead, so I can't really test it on them, but Elemental Avatar, 11 to 32 force damage, allow cold, fire, lightning, and thunder to flow through you to gain elemental harmony and chaos. So the harmony, become resistant to physical damage for 12 turns. You gain additional action, and you heal for 2 to 16 hit points at the start of every turn. And chaos, your spells and attacks deal an additional 24 force damage. Your critical hit threshold's reduced by 5, and you can cast primeval spells. Enemies around you are inflicted with fear. Once per long rest, guys. It's balanced. It's balanced. So this takes an action and a bonus action. Thank goodness, because that's stupid. Doesn't affect your allies, though. You know, perfectly balanced. So that's that. That would do, you know, the 1132 force damage. I'm healing every turn. There's all my buffs for 13 turns. Does that stack? If I have Searing Heat and I get Avatar of Fire again? Please tell me that doesn't stack. It doesn't stack, but we've got rainbow damage now. That's the key here, guys. Rainbow damage. What the filth? Okay, since we attuned... Oh, wow. Okay, this is blowing my mind right now. So since we attuned to lightning, because this gives you all 4, that gave us an extra bonus action. And then the Elemental Avatar ability itself gives you an extra action. So now we have 2 actions and 2 bonus actions. Yeah, I don't know. We get the attune spells like before. Now we have primeval spells though. So these are rich. Strike of the Lightning Storm, 15 to 50 damage. Strike an enemy with lightning. 6 more bolts will leap from the target, electrifying as many as 6 other enemies within 60 feet. So this is chain lightning on roids, or I guess it's level 9 evocation spell? Oh my. And it adds all your damage modifiers. What was this guy doing when he made this mod? I guess you wanted Avatar, you get the Avatar state. I mean, Aang does turn into a freaking huge fish and just maul the entire all the firebenders. Flames of the fifth phoenix, 13 to 48 fire damage. Shoot a bright flame from your fingers that explodes on contact, scorching everything in the vicinity. This is standard. This is like a fireball. Can't be too OP. Holy crap.
Life you took will not go
My bad. Well, now we're in combat, actually, so I can show you these effects when you're close to everyone. This is all four of them combined, keep in mind. Frightened, blinded, all that crap. Because of the attunements. They give you that AoE. So there's that. And, might as well go over these other spells. Eye of the eighth Ego. Emit a shockwave of thunder that damages nearby creatures and knocks them prone. And this does 16 to 72 damage. Looks freaking sick. She's gonna come back to life and fight me again, maybe? Nope. Nice. Okay. And then the last one is Shriek of the Sixth Summit. 10 to 40 cold damage. Fangs of ice and hail crash from the sky and freeze the area, leaving ice terrain for 2 turns and applying frostbite to foes. Let's do that real quick. Oh, that rainbow damage is insane. Yeah, so that's the mod, guys. And then, again, expelling elements doesn't scale with how many elements you have. It's always 11 to 32 damage. And then, yeah, you can always use your Rainbow Flurry of Blows for 114 to 128 damage, if that didn't get the job done this well.
sort of fight.
Oh, yeah. Now that's a lot of damage. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if this kind of format was good for you guys. It's kind of easier to make a video like this where I'm not doing as many jump cuts. I'm still gonna go back and edit this and add some jump cuts. Yeah, hope you guys liked it. Let me know if you enjoyed it and if you want to see anything changed, what other kind of videos you want to see. I'm gonna try to do more videos more frequently. I've had a lot of stuff going on, so that's why I've been uploading nearly as frequently, and I apologize for that. I really love making these videos for you guys, and I want to keep making content. So I'm gonna try to prioritize it more. Just got a lot going on right now. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. Subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the 4 elements worked together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Wizards of the Coast released D&D. Only Larian Studios, master of all things gaming, could stop them. But when the gaming community needed them the most, they vanished. A few months passed, and Omaha, best YouTuber ever, discovered a new avatar, a couple of modders on Nexus, and although their mods looked great, he wanted to put them to the test for you guys today. And I believe these mods can save the world.